FPL lovers, welcome back to the Focus Shed. It's me, Livesey Lovesit. I've got some tinkering been going on. Let's go see what's happening. Hi, welcome. Right, it's been 8 days. Thank you to everybody who's viewed my last video. Absolutely made up. Over 300 views, which is great for me. That's triple more than I've ever had before. And some new subscribers. So I hope you're back and I hope you stay with me tonight. Let's see what's going on with my team then. So this was my team last week when I left you. Perisic, Robertson, Alexander-Arnold, Nico Williams, Cancelo. Nothing strange there, I don't think. Dele Alli, he's not stayed. I've got to be honest. I've had a bit of a ribbing off me mates about this one. The potential's there. Watch list, I think the category that Dele Alli goes under. Kulusevski, Undav, Haaland, and Jesus. So, what has been going on? I'll take you through my team. I'm going to tell you my reasons why. There will be some stats and stuff that I share as the show goes on for the choices I've made, because this is not my team now. Let's have a look and see what I've done. I am going 5.5 goalkeeper to start with. And yes, I am using one of my Liverpool players for my goalkeeper. Why, I hear you say. Let's find out. Let's have a look. So, goalkeeper. This is, by the way, Fantasy Football Hub. Links in the description below. Kind permission for me to use this information in my videos. So, if you'd like to subscribe to their offering, then please do so. As you can see, last season, this is for the whole season, and obviously I'm looking for a season keeper. Yes, I know there's wildcards, etc, 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 but I'm looking for some stability. I want to start the season strong. Liverpool and Man City have got the fixtures, as we know, to start off with. And Alisson, last season, 4.89 points per game. Highest scoring goalkeeper on 176 points. So, yeah, these three keepers are all 5.5 this season. So, for me, I want to maximise every position to the best I possibly can. And use my money wisely. Now, I think these goalkeepers were like 6 and 6.5 last season. I think this is great value. 176 points. He's had this in 2 of his 4 seasons in the Premier League. If you look back, exactly the same in 2018, 2019. 176 points. We had the Van Dijk injury, which I think didn't help. Where is he here? In the middle season, I don't think on totals. If we go per 90, because was he injured for part of it? He was on 4.31, so he was the 4th best keeper there. And then in the season after that, this is the one where I think Van Dijk was injured, if I remember rightly. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. Please do. Oh, by the way, this is a great time to say, just while I've got like lost for words and what I was forgetting what I was saying, this is a great time to hit that like button, please. I had my record likes last time. And subscribe, please. I want to hit 50 subscribers. I've only got 6 to go to get to 50. And I want to be doing live streams with interaction. Anyway, goalkeepers in the year 2020-21. Let's do totals, because it wasn't as many. Alisson, there he is, 138 points. But I just think they've got a great start to the season, without a doubt, and I want to maximise every position. I've gone 4.5 keepers every year in the past, and to be honest, I haven't won FPL yet, so I want to do something different, because yes, of course I want to win it. We all start the same, don't we? Right. Oh. Sneak preview for later on. I don't know if you saw that. No pausing and rewinding. In defence, Reece James, Alexander-Arnold, Cancelo, and Nico Williams. Not a bench player for me. He's going to be an enabler for further up the pitch. Like I said, I've got 3 in the title for this video, I am gone Threemium. I've got 3 premium players, 11.5 plus, which I shall show you very shortly, which is still up for debate, getting towards the close season. But as it stands, if the season was kicking off tomorrow, this is what I would go with. We will, on FPL Focus here, and I will do, after the Charity Shield, I will do some videos to basically decide and have a look at the information, because I think that is a very key game. Well, basically, it's all about Haaland, isn't it? Is he the man to have or not? If he's playing 50 minutes that game, not scoring, are we starting with him? We shall see. Right, so that's what I mean. That is a very important game, and I think after the Community Shield, that's when, for me, I will solidify my choices, and I will put something together to show you as to why on premiums and my midfielders that I go for, etc. Defence. And my thoughts behind that, and you can challenge that, and we can share. Let's have a look and see why then. I'm going to try and keep this fairly snappy, but I think there's some good information here. So I've set these up already. So goalkeeper, no, we've done goalkeepers. Let's move on. Defenders. What we're looking at. Per 90 minutes last season. James, 6.8. Now, we know James was injured for a lot of the parts of the season, or a number of parts. But he was the highest scoring defender per game. He was awesome. I had him in my team early doors, and he was the one player I kept trying to get. He was just so intent on getting towards that goal. Perfect, and with a strong back line. And with Koulibaly now signing for Chelsea as well, I'm expecting that to be stronger still with clean sheets. And I was bemoaning in the last video that I didn't have any Chelsea in my back line. I know a lot of people have got Mendy in goal. A lot of people have got Chelsea, Chilwell and James in their team. So for me, that was why I wanted James. Robertson, he was in my team. He's now been taken out. Basically, I've sacrificed Robertson to enable me to have Alisson in goal, because I want to maximise on that position if I'm spending the money. So I've sacrificed Robertson. And let's go back to my team. Cancelo. Again, right up here, 5.6 points per match. If we look at the totals, Alexander-Arnold, Cancelo. This is last season. So basically, I'm basing my theories on form. I want a strong defence. I want a really strong defence that basically, this is my sort of strategy that I've got in my head, if you like. I've got an enabler. On the bench, by the way, I also have Nathan Patterson as my other 4.0 midfielder. Okay, so what the plan is to rotate those in the final few days as the season just before the season kicks off. Then I shall be analysing any more data that have come in for maybe a better 4.0. We shall see. We shall see as we go. But for now, like I say, if the season started tomorrow, this would be the team I go with. So I think that's a very solid sort of defence. So my tactics are basically keep those. If James gets injured, bring in Chilwell. If Alexander-Arnold gets injured, I'll bring in Robertson. If Cancelo gets injured, we'll see if somebody nails a place at City. Maybe I'll bring in Diaz just for a bit of stability. And then I'll keep searching for those 4.0 defenders to keep rotating. And that is my plan, and hopefully get a playing one. That's as we go on. So, into midfield. As you can see, more changes again. And I have gone for Kevin De Bruyne as my Threemium player. He had a fantastic second half to last season. Absolutely fantastic. And yes, I know Haaland is in pretty much everybody's team, but maybe he needs a little bit of time to settle in. I've been reading some articles saying that he is one of the reasons he signed for Manchester City is that they won't push him, and for injuries they won't rush him, they won't overuse him. and because he was wanting to go to a team in Spain, but he was basically informed that he could possibly be pushed, I think, like to play more games, where he was reassured at Manchester City that wouldn't happen. So he has had some injuries, so maybe his minutes are going to be managed. Maybe once the game's wrapped up, he's the type of player that's going to come off. And let's be honest, Manchester City do wrap up a lot of their games early. Maybe he's, I don't know, not going to play as much. But on the flip side of that, I have seen quotes from Pep Guardiola saying they're going to be putting lots of balls into the box for him because that's the type of player that he is. So, on that sense, if that's going to be the tactic that's going to be played, then, wow, I'm not stupid not to have him, to be honest. So, like I say, the Charity Shield for me is a massive one. Salah, I've explained in the last video. If you haven't seen it, I shall leave it as the sort of link at the side at the end. But basically, he starts for me, and no way he's not my captain for Fulham. I want to sell him further down the line because he's 13 million. But what I'm waiting for is to see if Ronaldo leaves Manchester United, and then I could bring in, hopefully, Bruno Fernandes, who returns to the Bruno Fernandes of old at a £10 million price point. So those are my thoughts, like for the future, and I can release then £3 million, and then upgrade one of my £5.5 million double midfielders that I have in my team here to an 8.5 million. I can upgrade to a Kulusevski, a Saka, because they're probably risen in price by then if they're doing well, further down the line. So that's my sort of thoughts moving forward. And then I'd have like a De Bruyne and Fernandes, an 8.5 and a 5.5. So I'll just be managing one. But my 5.5 midfielders, let's have a look at why I've gone for Gordon and Ramsey, shall we? So, here I've got my, again, the tool, the Opta Stats through Fantasy Football Hub. Set to midfielders. I've done my price range, set to maximum 5.5. We're obviously looking at, last season's data here at this minute in time, which, is a good guide to how these players are doing, I suppose. So I'm looking for form because some of these players are young, coming through, and certainly the two I'm looking at are. So developing all the time. So second half of last season is what I'm looking at. Some players will have signed in January as well. And as you can see, if we go into points alone, which points make prizes in this game, let's be honest. We'll look at the other stats in a minute, but Gordon Wissa, so he's a big consideration for me. I want to see how he's been going on pre-season. I'll be reading about him. Maybe he's an alternative for Gordon or for Ramsey. But I shall explain my reasoning a little bit more for why I've gone for these two. And then no one else sort of really excites me. Brownhill. I know he's had the same points as Ramsey, but he's a little bit older. Fabinho, I'm not going to be using up a Liverpool slot for that. McAllister, possibly. Elanga, possibly, if he starts to, if he improves and starts to nail down a regular place. But I'm seeing, if Ronaldo leaves, which is massively important to, I think the FPL assets at Manchester United, for whatever great player he is. Yes, I'm on the side of the fence that him going to Manchester United ruined the team. Unfortunately, just look back in history, Gary Lineker, 40 goals, didn't win the league at Everton. Season after, we sold him, we won the league. It was too dependent on one player, and it all revolved around one player, as fantastic as he was, and scored 40 goals in a season, not 18, and we still couldn't win the league, centering, all focused around one player. So it's happened before, and I think there'll be a better team without him, to be honest with you. And let's see what happens. Right. So Gordon and Ramsey. Let's have a look first. Jacob Ramsey. So doesn't have that many stats to look up on, like I say, just last season. So if we look back at his early career, and I've been watching some interviews by him as well, if you look back at his early career in the Premier Under-18s Premier League, 11 goals, 4 assists there. So when he was playing at his like the level he was. Obviously, he's still young and coming through in the Premier League, although he has played 56 games. And interestingly, under Gerrard, started 27 of the 29 games that he played for him. So he's a big player for him. 6 goals, 1 assist in the Premier League last season. Now, the other thing I like about him is he was voted... Oh, go away. He was voted the Young Player and Players Player of the season. Look, Young Player of the season and Players Player of the season, which is, as Gerrard says here, described as arguably the biggest honour you can receive from within your own club. Of course it is. The respect from the players for his hunger and desire. This is Birmingham World, by the way, .uk. So I was trying to research some like local sort of stories about them. And he's just, it seems like his team's been built around him. Yeah, 27 of the 29 being from the off of all those performances last season. So I did watch an interview, and he talked. He was with his brother on Aston Villa TV, I think it was, or something like that. And he was saying that he has basically been a goal scoring midfielder, and that's what he sees himself as, getting assists, and that's where he wants to sort of like push himself, like moving forward as well. So that for me is exciting, and I think he could be a good player. I had him last season for short periods as my Coutinho alternative, and then on to Gordon. Interestingly, if we look at the under-18s Premier League, like he's had an even better sort of like return, 15 and 5, so 20 returns out of 22 games in the under-18s, 11 returns here, 7 goals, 4 assists. So you know he's both. He's not just a goal scorer. He likes that he gets assists as well in the Premier League too in 23 games. That's almost 1 in 2. 7 returns in 49 Premier League games, but they were all to the last season. He's done brilliantly, and again with Gordon as an Evertonian, and this is, I do want an Everton player in my team. I know, I go overboard sometimes if you've seen what I've done before, but they're my team. I love them, and if I can get one in, and there's 4 5.5 midfielders at Everton, so surely one of them can get in. Gray, Decore, Dele Alli, Gordon. Maybe that's. Just for the fun element as well. But, I do want to win it, like I say. So, if I'm being a bit mad, then tell me. But, likewise, with Gordon, men's young player of the season, men's player of the season, these 2 young boys I've got in my team are highly respected by all of their teammates for their passion, their commitment. What does... This lad has really come into his own. You have been a credit to yourself for the past year. Seamus Coleman. Do you know what I mean? Just absolutely awesome. In terms of, I love him. I'm an Evertonian, so of course I'm going to love him. But with the stats in his early career as well, and I have seen interviews like 2 or 3 now where all he talks about is wanting to get goals and assists and being not just a good player, he wants to be a top player. So that's what I've seen. Whether he makes it or not, every player wants to be a top player, but he's talking about it. He's sort of setting his stall out. And let's be honest, when I watch him, he gets the ball and he wants to get towards that goal. That's going to be his aim. He's got his favourite number. He's now the number 10 for Everton. It's been his dream since a child. I just think, yeah, Everton have got good fixtures, week 2 to 5. So not just being an Everton bias. So there's some fixtures there, and if anybody's going to get the points for Everton, I think it's going to be Gordon. We've lost Richarlison. Calvert-Lewin wasn't on fire last season. So, he's my Everton player. So there we go. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Please do. All right, let's go back to my team then. So where are we at? So that's my midfield. Oh, no, let's go back and explain why I've got Salah and De Bruyne. So what I've looked at here, is this the one? I've got so many tabs open ready for you guys. So I've looked at midfield and forwards because that's where my premium players are. And I want to look at the forward line, well, basically the attack as one sort of team, basically, or under one element, and look at their points and what they've been scoring, all together. So let's look at the totals for last season. And then we'll look at the per 90 minutes and have a look at that as well. this is also where's the game week range for the second half of last season. Again, I sort of want the players informed. We'll look at the whole season as well. But the second half of last season, look, Son absolutely smashed it. 162 points. Now, Son was in my team the other day. He may well end up in my team again, and I'll explain that, in a moment when I've revealed my whole team as to why that might happen after the Charity Shield. Kane, 147 points. This is, like I say, second half of the season. So under Conte, I think that's really, really important. This is De Bruyne, 139 points. Now we know De Bruyne has form. Absolutely best player in the Premier League. Is he? Certainly up there, isn't he? Let's be honest. 139 points. So he had a storming second half to last season. Bowen. May need some money for Bowen in week 2 once he's played City. 8.5 million. What a bargain he is. So, but I'm not considering it at the moment, and I'm not too worried because I don't think many other people are either. Strange, but I don't think they are. So yeah, that was look at Kulusevski, 99 points. So again, Fantasy Football Hub, this guys. So this is why I've gone for De Bruyne. Basically, he's had a superb second half to last season. Look at expected assists. He's second on that thing. Look at Kane right at the top. Expected goals won't be as high because obviously we've got forwards in this. I don't know where he comes, to be honest. I'm not going to go looking for that. Shots. There you go. He's in the top 10. He's a midfielder. All of these. Oh, Saka. Look at that. They've got some good fixtures. Good fixtures. I think he's a good man to have in your team. But there's lots of good players out there. It's about getting the right combination. That's the key, and that's what I'm trying to do here, as well as have some stability. Let me just go back to my team. What my plan is. Let me go and show you my full team now. Kane up front and Undav. So here's my 3 premium. So my plan, my strategy, if you like, my tactics, my tic-tac tactics. This is my spine here down the middle of my team. Alisson, Alexander-Arnold, Cancelo, Salah, De Bruyne, Kane. I think that's pretty solid. I nearly swore then, but I don't want to put an 18 thing on this. That, for me, is a solid team to then build around and add into that Reece James. I ain't changing my defence. I'm looking at these and then rotating and keeping an eye on the £5.5 million players. Look at some of the options. Let's go back. Where was the 5.5 million tab? There it was. Some of the options that did fairly well last season. I've opened up a few down here, to keep an eye on. We've got Lanzini, we've got Souček, McAllister, Wisser, Højbjerg. Not for me, really, Højbjerg. Romeo, Souček, the Lord himself. There's options. There's options for rotating and going with fixtures at this 5.5 level. I can also go, if we get a 4.5 that comes along that's worth a starting place. And I've got on my bench, if we have a look, I've got Andreas Pereira, to be able to come in as well. But another 4.5 comes along, then I could take that out, and I quite like the look of Rashford as well. But like I said, you can't have them all. And I've got 3 premium players up here. That gives me some really good captaincy choices over the next sort of 6 weeks. And I think some of the weeks, if you haven't got one of these from these teams, then I don't think you've got the favourite captain. But we'll look at captaincy choices again. But, this is, as you can see, I've got Plans in my team. He got a hat-trick for Crystal Palace just the other day, Luke Plans, in a pre-season friendly, £4.5 million forward. So I'm hopeful of him to be able to get some minutes and, great 4.5 option for the bench if he's going to do, scoring goals in pre-season and considered for cameos and stuff like that and build as the season goes on. Patterson, he's playing at right back, although Everton haven't had a great start to pre-season, but they have played teams ahead of them in their sort of like fitness. You know, they've just played Minnesota, got beaten 4-0 last night, but they are mid-season. So, there we go. It is what it is. But, you know, this is where I look at Patterson, where I look at Williams, and I will rotate them between their fixtures. As you can see, Patterson's on the bench for this one because he's got Chelsea at home. Nico Williams has got the better fixture, so he's the one playing. I will probably, if there's another option that comes along, replace Patterson because maybe, you know, my Everton bias, don't want to do that. And Andreas, you know, if I get a better 4.5 option because, I don't know, if there is a better one, then I'll take it. But that's my plan, to rotate these as the season goes on. After the Charity Shield, I think that for me, what that determines is this De Bruyne-Kane partnership could well become a Haaland-Son partnership. Okay? It's as simple as that. And that is what my plan to do is. They're the same price. It just gives me Son in midfield. I really fancy the look of Kane, though. I think he looks leaner. I think he looks a bit fitter. And under Conte, I think he will start more games. Son may well get substituted, rested more. There are more options in that sort of position with Kulusevski, Richarlison, Lucas Moura. More as well, I'm sure, without off the top of my head. But that's still more options for him than they've had previously. So maybe he would rested more. Maybe not. You know, Son starts every game. It's as simple as that. He's, you know, it starts for any team in the Premier League, doesn't he? Every game. Maybe not City, but every other team he starts. You know, simple as that. Yes, Liverpool too. So yeah, guys, that is my team for this so far, my current draft. Thanks very much for joining me here this evening. Like I say, please subscribe. I want to get to 50 subscribers. That's my first target. And then let's see where we go. Thank you very much for watching all my last video. Hopefully I beat my target, you know, of 325 views, I think it was last time. And that's it. I'll be back soon, maybe in a week's time, with a cheeky little update. But like I say, it's after the Charity Shield for me. Which isn't that long, actually, is it? It's not that long. So, season's coming soon. Thanks for joining me here in the Focus Shed. Livesey Lovesit. Over and out. See you later.